I want to share a process, or you could say a dynamic that came through in the sharing circle last night. And of course, I have to give credit to the person that had the courage to be holding the talking stick when this came through, and her willingness to dig deep. And but what it involves is when we're awakening and unfolding something that we really want in our lives. Like it could be like a life dream. Maybe it was an intention that you set this spring. Maybe it's having that dream relationship that you want. That's that soulmate, that that kind of your partnership, and all the things that you really want most in a relationship. It's not like past relationships that had these whatever issues in them. You want this thing, or maybe maybe you want to have a healing practice of sorts. Maybe you want to have your own business, or you want to have a new way of working with people, or you want to create something new that allows you to create community and have involvement, and something that like really matters to you. Okay, and of course these make the best intentions. They're lofty, right? They're ambitious. They're like something that you've never had before. They're something that you've never allowed yourself to have before, or even maybe allowed yourself to dream or seriously look at unfolding. So you kind of stretch to even like say you want this thing and to start walking toward it and allowing it to unfold. It's like they're the best intentions. They're also the intentions and the dreams that often have some karmic issues attached to them, which is maybe why they're not in our life yet, And so when we make these things, there's often, it's like these deep-seated maybe self-worth issues. I often talk about it like when you allow that much beauty into your life, like with a relationship or having your dream purpose or this community, this spiritual community you've always dreamed of, it's like those, that much beauty is what I was trying to say. When you're bringing online that much beauty and you're allowing that much beauty, it often has some pretty karmic issues that may be attached to them, like that just maybe your belief systems, your family of origin may not have given you signals that you can have that much beauty in your life. Maybe you're supposed to sacrifice or make the best of it or whatever else. And so we're really stretching ourselves, and we're really stretching our belief systems. And there's these karmic issues. They could be self-worth issues or core fears or whatever they may be, which I don't want to get into the content of them on this blog. But they come with this, and they require a lot of strength and awareness. And so when we set this intention, perhaps behind the scenes, maybe in the spiritual dimensions, okay, we have these karmic issues to overcome. And so we're building strength and we're accumulating awareness to kind of have enough to cross over that threshold of our karmic issue into allowing the thing to unfold. Okay? And so how do we build strength? Well, spiritual practices are really good for that. Meditation, whatever you do in your spiritual practice, the sharing circle that we did last night, the things that build awareness and build true strength, like spiritual strength that allows you to cross over, to trust yourself at a deep level and cross over to allow this thing and not push it away when it comes into your life, and not go the other way running like maybe we've done in the past. And so it's this process of, and it's this dimension of thinking of things, or this perspective is different than our minds usually operate on. If it is a relationship, it's like, what's the problem? I'm single, I'm ready, it's springtime, I'm fired up. So like, let's just, there's the pretty girl, or there's the cute guy, like, why, I'm just gonna go over and say hi. And I actually really recommend doing those things. However, it's not, there's often things going on under the surface that maybe we don't quite have the necessary strength yet. So we hit walls, and it can be frustrating as hell, right? To see the thing, to get a sense of it, to almost experience a little piece of it, and then have it just kind of, disintegrate. Where'd it go? Why didn't it work out? Or maybe it's not in the relationship, it's in the building thing, and we have this setback, and we're waiting for this thing to take hold. And in our minds, it's like, what's the problem? Like, let's just get this thing done. Let's get her done. I've got my checklist here. I got this. I took care of this. I did the marketing. I did this. I did this. I did this and this. And still, like, nothing's happening. Like, why isn't this happening? And it's just like, it's like, damn it, Spirit. I thought I prayed for this. I asked for an intention. You accepted. You said you'd unfold it. And yet here it is, and like nothing's happening. Well, nothing's happening as our mind sees it, but there's lots happening under the surface. There's lots happening, like with the iceberg under the surface thing, or there's lots happening in the spiritual dimension. And these realities of the rational and the spiritual are really far apart. I was in the circle last night. I was trying to find a way to describe this. And it was a humorous example of when I do an I Ching, the Book of Changes, and it's like you can use the I Ching for a way of divination. You can like ask it an inquiry question, and then it'll give you an answer by responding you to one of the 64 hexagrams and the change lines and everything else. And so there I'm like asking these pragmatic issues, to it, and I might say, hey, what about, asking this person out, or what about, having this event for my business to promote the marketing thing. It's like, it's a real pragmatic thing. And then the I Ching gives me this response back, and it's just like, a man would like to proceed, but it is not quite time to cross the great water, and you're just sitting there like, damn, like what do you mean not time to cross? And it's like, sometimes, you get frustrated. One of my favorite phrases, favorite phrases with the I Ching is like, what the hell, Ching? You speak in riddles. Like, just tell me, am I supposed to ask the girl out or not? Am I supposed to start the marketing campaign? Am I supposed to do this circle or not? And it's just like, oh, a man would like to proceed, but he, is not having the requisite strength, and it is not quite time yet. And it just is like, it's so frustrating. But what it does to me is it shows, it is the answer to my question, but it's reflecting what's going on at the spiritual level under the surface. Okay. And same thing with like meditations, or like I've had like guides or psychic readings, the spiritual dimension, whether it's the I Ching, it's meditation, it's guides, it's psychic readings, it's, channelings, it's downloads, or whatever it is, right? The guidance we get from a spiritual dimension, it often is this theme of building the requisite strength and it'll give you time. It's like, not quite time yet. Look, deal with this first, and then maybe it'll be time then. And it's our mind is like doesn't understand. It's just like, what's the problem? I'm ready to do it. There's no obstacles that I can see. I've done all the things on my checklist. Like, I want it now. Like, what's the problem? And we may even give up on it before, because but in the background, we're building requisite strength. So I just wanted to kind of lay this out. And if you do have a lofty intention and goal, I hope you do, is just realize that you may be building strength and awareness that you're going to need to hold this thing when it comes. Maybe if the pretty girl said yes now to me, would I be able to hold that much beauty, or would I push it away? And so it's like building strength, accumulating awareness. And then so when the thing comes through, I'm able to hold it, and I'm able to unfold it, and I don't push it away, and I'm able to take the next steps. So it really requires a lot of patience and trust in spirit, which I talked about either last week or the week before. I can't remember which, but it's like just trusting that I put in this intention, okay, and spirit accepted my prayer, and we're unfolding this thing together. So it's gonna come. I know it's gonna come. Okay. Of course, my mind would like to have it now. I mean, I'm sitting here, it's like, I'm not getting younger here. It'd be nice to kind of get this thing going, And so we'd like to have it now, of course, but maybe there's some things going on under the surface. And so if we stay in our practice, we stay in our meditation practice, we do our work. I like to do some automatic writing by the river, my shamanic meditation, whatever it is. Maybe you go to the sharing circle, or you do different things. You have a yoga practice, and it builds that character and that strength. And then, then you're able to hold it. You're able to overcome the karmic issues. Once you've done that, the other thing I notice is have you ever had like resistance to something, and you're like hitting a wall, and then one morning you wake up and you're just like, oh, I just need to do this, and this. Done. And it's just like, well, why didn't I just do that 2 weeks ago when I was just struggling? I had all this resistance and I kept procrastinating. Well, it wasn't time yet. You didn't have the requisite strength to do it 2 weeks ago. You needed to build the strength. And then one day you woke up, there was the strength, and then it was a piece of cake. You just did it, done. And that's what's often happening. That's my experience, but it does not make sense to our conscious mind. But maybe understanding this will allow you to continue to build strength, not give up on it. Know that spirit and the universe is doing everything it can to bring you the thing that you'd like to unfold, but you're just in the process of building strength. And so don't give up, and keep practicing. And just, Adyashanti used to talk about, he was talking about awakening being the goal, and to just sit at the edge of your consciousness and wait for the awakening. So you stay with the practice, you're there, and then one day you just walk across. It's like without any resistance in the world, the person comes, you welcome it because you have the strength, you have the awareness to hold it. So that is my video for this week. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have an amazing week. Happy spring. And yeah, those things that you really want, just maybe sit with them and trust that you're building the strength, and keep building the strength. Don't let it dissipate. I used to say that about momentum. Keep building the momentum and keep building the strength. Don't let it dissipate, because once you have enough, it will fall into place. I promise. And I will see you in a week.